Hello everyone. Welcome to the Frogs and Toads activity that we will be doing with the middle schoolers. This activity has two main goals in mind. One, we want to encourage the students to explore the activity and to develop strategic thinking. We want to really make space for students to safely engage and follow their sort of creativity in trying to solve this problem. And if they, run into an error where they don't have a solution, that's okay. You can just reset and try again. The second goal is we want to allow students the opportunity to communicate their reasoning, to really practice putting their strategic thinking and what they're doing into words and communicate it to other people, whether that be you or communicating it to their peers. Okay, so let's recall the sort of setup here. We have, in the first version of this game, 5 lily pads, 2 frogs on the left, we want to move those over to the right, and 2 toads on the right, which we want to move over to the left. We have 2 valid moves we can make. We can either slide one space, so for example, I can take this toad and slide him one space, or you can jump over one occupied space, like that. And so using these 2 moves, you want to try to, move the toads over and the frogs over. So let's go ahead and maybe finish this puzzle up. I have several different options. I could slide this frog, for example, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this toad and move him over here. And then I'm going to take this frog and leap. And then I'm going to take this frog and leap. I'm going to move this toad, leap with this toad, and then to finish it off, I'm going to move the frog over there. Okay, that was pretty quick, but this was a solution. And just so you can kind of see those moves laid out, this would be, this is one possible solution configuration. I don't think this is the one I followed exactly, but this is one that works. What you'll notice, maybe as I was doing the solution and in here, is that there's a point in the game where the toads and frogs are sort of interwoven between each other. And that should always happen as a solution with this particular set of moves, because if you imagine that you weren't going to interweave a frog, between these 2 toads, for example, then these 2 toads essentially need to move through the lily pads together like this, but then there's no way a frog can get over them or between them to get to the other side. So you have to space out your frogs and toads enough that you can use that jump over one occupied space move to get everyone switched over. Okay, now we can sort of bump this up and we can do 7 lily pads with 3 and 3. And I recommend that you take a moment, pause the video, and try to work this one out on your own, pen and paper, or with some manipulatives, and see if you see a similarity. Okay, so I hope you got an opportunity to try this, but what you might notice is that when you try to solve this one, you also have a point where you have to interweave the frogs and toads to make the solution go. Very nice. Okay, this is not the only version of this activity. There is another sort of challenge. There's new rules. So now frogs can slide one space, or they can jump over 2 occupied spaces. So you can try doing this with 5 and also with 7 lily pads. So for example, maybe I can slide one space, and you might be tempted, okay, I can jump one occupied space, but that's not a rule anymore. We only get to jump over 2 occupied spaces. So if I move the toad over here, now the frog can jump over the 2 occupied spaces. So now we don't have the same interweaving that's happening in the other set of rules, but something else is happening. Maybe there's some other pattern that we can discern with this set of moves. So that's one particular solution. Try it with 7 lily pads and let me know what you think.